let's be honest, Bitcoin has been struggling. It's been hard to watch each and every day, week after week after week. It's more bloodbath, more volatile, more uncertainty. It's been horrific. We're in the middle of the bull and the bull is not here. What is going on? When are things going to get better? Well, to be honest, there are two things that could really turn things around for Bitcoin. And I want to cover both of them with the latest and greatest information right now. Is Bitcoin on the verge of ending all of this turmoil, or is it about to get worse? Let's dig into the facts. Do you love altcoins? Do you want to hear my opinion of the top 4 altcoins with huge potential right now? Well, I made an exclusive bonus video. To unlock it immediately for free, go to cryptocrewuniversity.com. Again, that's cryptocrewuniversity.com. Go unlock it immediately for free right now. If you're already on my email list, that video is already waiting for you. Hi, I'm Steve. I quit my job over 13 years ago, been traveling the world since, thanks to my trading and investing skills. Join me for sponsorship-free TA with genuine value that actually works. Subscribe. Here we are on the Bitcoin US dollar index, and we are on the weekly chart. On the weekly chart, in today's video, I want to cover 3 distinct things. Number 1, the star of the show, the Stochastic Rsi, the thing that could really turn it around. Where are we right now with our Stochastic Rsi cross? Also, middle of our screen, RSI. For 170 days, we've been getting heavy resistance at this line. When are we going to break it? What is the latest information here? And could it get a lot worse? Now, top of our screen, price action. Currently getting resistance from this green line. What's this green line? The 21 SMA. We're going to dig into price action, dig into this SMA, and talk about our market structure support that could be in trouble. So let's start with price action. We'll dig into these, and at the end of the video, I'm going to give my honest opinion on what I believe is going to happen with this weekly Stochastic Rsi cross and the 2-week Stochastic Rsi cross as it relates to the legendary 2-month gravestone doji. For those of you who are watching for the first time, many months ago, I said Bitcoin printed a gravestone doji candle on a 2-month time frame. That's ridiculously powerful and could really spell disaster for Bitcoin. Since then, Bitcoin has had a really rough go. So at the end of the video, I want to give an update on what I believe to be true based on all of the facts we're about to unveil right now. Let's get to some facts. Let's start with price action. With price action, you can see we've been range bound, right? There's 2 kinds of markets. There's trending markets and there's range bound markets. You can trend upwards, you can trend downwards, but most of the time, Bitcoin moves sideways. I hate to break it to you, but that's just the reality. What Bitcoin likes to do is it moves sideways for between 100 and 200 days prior to the next trending move. We happen to be getting very close to that. More on that in a moment. But what you can see is we've been range bound. So there's nothing too exciting and nothing too depressing about being range bound, right? There's no move inside of here that should concern you. And there's no move inside of here that should excite you. You should be relatively even keel, level-headed when it comes to range-bound movements. Unfortunately, if you think about the past 180 days of your life, one day you wake up, you're sad. Then the next day, you're excited. And then Bitcoin's going up. And then you're sad. It starts going back down. You need to remain level-headed and throw all of those emotions in the trash, because emotions are not going to make you money. When you stay level-headed, you focus on the facts, you have a sound strategy, that is what's going to make you money. Now, when you see we've been range-bound, okay? What recently we had is this huge wick here, which had momentum on our side. We had momentum on our side and we rallied up. However, we got further rejection at this green line. The green line is the 21 SMA. If you want to have it on your chart, you just go to indicators, you type in SMA, you plug in your information to look precisely like this for the inputs, and then you'll have this on your chart on a weekly time frame, and you'll be able to follow along. Tilt your phone to the side and subscribe. The reason I want you to follow along is if you look at about 14 years of data, it's very clear. This 21 SMA holds extreme resistance in a bear market and heavy support in a bull. That's really, really simple. So it's a simple line to keep you level-headed. Right now, we're holding it as resistance, something that we never do in a bull run unless it was the year of the COVID crash, which everyone says, oh my God, the COVID crash is because of actual COVID. No. If that were true, how come months and months and months before COVID was even a thing, we broke below this line? Men lie, women lie, the charts don't lie. COVID didn't exist here, plain and simple. So COVID didn't have this happen. Bull run, we are supposed to hold it as support. If we break it, it's foreshadowing of what's to come. Plain and simple. There's no way around it. You look at all 14 years of data. Men lie, women lie, the charts don't lie. So what we have on our hand here is a warning sign. Plain and simple. There's no way around it. We can't sugarcoat it. This is not good. Plain and simple. Right? So we have resistance, right? We broke down here back in June, which we showed you here, and then we held some support at our bottom. We went back up. We tried to hold support at this line. We just couldn't. We just didn't have enough momentum on our side. And also at the same time that we've been range bound, Bitcoin created a high here back in March, and then a lower high here back in May, and then yet another lower high here back in July, and potentially another lower high here in August. This is also forming a bull flag. Hit that subscribe button because later in the week and next week, we're going to cover the bull flag at length because that's a very fascinating topic. So what we have here is resistance for a handful of months at this line, which we should not deal with in a bull run. So if this bull run is feeling like one of the worst, I've seen a lot of comments saying, oh my God, this is one of the worst bull runs. I can't believe it. It's so disgraceful. This is supposed to going up. If you guys are relatively new to my channel is very different. We talk about just the facts and the charts, and we focus on the big picture. And a few years ago, yes, I said years, I told you that this bull run would be the worst one we've ever had. And that's based on a ton of facts. It was undeniably obvious that this was going to be the worst bull run in history. In fact, they've all been getting weaker by a factor of 5.3. You may have heard about the 5.3 theory. I'm the person who created the 5.3 theory, and the 5.3 theory suggests that every cycle was getting weaker by a precise magnitude of 5.3. It's all math, which can't be debated. We can't debate 2 + 2 is 4. These are just facts. And yes, this is supposed to be the worst and weakest bull run in history. We talked about that years ago and prepared everybody for it, and now we're living through it. So we shouldn't complain. We should be grateful that, it would have been very hard to predict that this was the bottom of the market. Nobody thought it was the bottom of the market, but luckily we called 15, 16, 17K the bottom. I said that this was the bottom one, this was the bottom two. Everybody said I was crazy, but we went from that price up to 74 and people are complaining. I literally called the bottom and we literally called 74 as the top, quite literally. So if you would have taken those gains, you would be ahead of like 99% of humans on Earth. Those gains are ridiculously hard to come by. Do you love altcoins? Do you want to hear my opinion of the top 4 altcoins with huge potential right now? Well, I made an exclusive bonus video. To unlock it immediately for free, go to cryptocrewuniversity.com. Again, that's cryptocrewuniversity.com. Go unlock it immediately for free right now. If you're already on my email list, that video is already waiting for you. So if you're patient and you watch my channel, these are where the facts are, right? I try to be very non-biased. I don't take paid ads. We just talk about the facts and I try to help people. And that's where we are, right? So stay level-headed, hit that subscribe button, and you're going to be in a good spot. So what we see in price action is we're having some trouble and we have warning signs and there's no way around it. However, the good news is we're holding our market structure. Now, when you look at the rest of the chart, you see the RSI in the middle of our screen. And by the way, for those who may be watching for the first time and they're like, I don't know if he called the bottom and called the top at 74. That sounds outlandish. It sounds like maybe he's in make-believe world. But luckily for you, we have the facts. So why don't we roll the clip on the bottom? And we're not going to go to 10K. Roll the clip. The charts that I studied are saying that the bottom is in. So if you're waiting for prices to dip below 10K, I don't think it's ever going to happen. So that was the first part. And the second part is it was like 73,500. I made the video when everyone thought we were about to go to 100K. And I said this, roll the clip. Attention cryptocurrency investors and traders. There is a major correction coming to the crypto space. So just to set the record straight, the bottom and the top, we should be grateful for that. That's a huge rally. This is not a terrible bull run. This is what we were supposed to do according to the 5.3 theory. We're right on schedule. And what Bitcoin has really done, which has really caused some problems, is we have a potential triple top where we had our first top back here in 21, and then later in 21 our double top, and we've essentially run right into that same area, which caused us huge problems. More on that video in a future video, so make sure you hit subscribe for that. That's a fascinating topic that I would love to talk about for hours on end. More on that later. But as we get to the middle of our screen, we have the RSI. With the RSI, we had our top of our trend here, and then we created our pivot high. We had a lower high here, yet another lower high here, yet another lower high here, and yet another lower high here. And for about 175, 180 days, we've been holding resistance at said trending line. Where we are currently is we're in this zone here. And right above our heads, we have at about 50, 51, some resistance. So that's what we're looking to break. And once Bitcoin breaks out of any downtrending line, especially one that's over 100, 150 days, those are big. Those are ridiculously noteworthy. And that's where big moves typically happen. Look no further than here. This is where we were heading into the bottom of the market when everyone said I had lost my marbles. They should put me in a mental hospital. There's no way the bottom would be at 15, 16,000. Tilt your phone to the side and subscribe. The bottom is at 7 or 6,000, but we are in this downtrending line for even longer. We are in this downtrending line for probably twice as long as the one I just showed you. And when we broke out of that is precisely when we broke out of everything and turned everything around. So these downtrending lines are very powerful. Pay close attention to them. So we're in one now. We're 175-ish days deep and things are heating up. What we don't want to see, I repeat, this would be horrific. What we don't want to see, actually, let me save that to the end of the video. This one is, I need to warn you, this is where things can really turn south if we break a particular level. More on that a little bit later. But the RSI is healthy right now, and it needs to break through this level or else there's going to be some turmoil. More on that later. Now, when we get to the bottom of our screen, this is the star of the show, the Stochastic Rsi. As I told you months ago, I said, hey, that 74,000, yeah, there's going to be a surprise correction. It's going to get people off guard. Nobody's going to expect it. It's going to be turmoil. And we were in a situation where we printed this gravestone doji on the 2-month time frame. And I said, Bitcoin will not, I repeat, will not create a new all-time high until we have a legit Stochastic Rsi cross. And people are like, oh, you're crazy, Steve. There's no way. Like a new all-time high, that'll be easy. This is a bull run. Well, here we are. How many days ago was that? Here we are 175 days later, and we haven't had a legitimate Stochastic Rsi cross, and we haven't created a new all-time high. So having these rules in place, it removes emotion because every day there seems to be this guesswork that's going on. Oh my God, today Bitcoin's up a couple dollars. I'm happy. The next day, oh my God, I'm sad. I'm depressed. Bitcoin's down 2, 3, 4%. You shouldn't act this way. Look at the big picture. Everything is more clear in the big picture and you can remain more level-headed. For example, trending versus sideways action in the market will keep you level-headed. This trend line will keep you level-headed. Bitcoin's not going to move to the upside in any significant way without breaking through here. Mark my words, it will not happen. You'll never see an explosive move in price action ever unless we break this trend line. It won't happen. That's how charts work. So this will keep you level. You wake up in the morning, you look at this. You don't even look at the price. You look at this and you're like, all right, it's not time yet. It's not time to be excited yet. So that's how you remain level-headed. Now, bottom of our screen, Stochastic Rsi. We had a couple fake outs so far. We're in the midst of a potential Stochastic Rsi cross-up with confirmation. So things are really heating up because a confirmation would be above the 20 level, which is here. Again, above a 20 level with a close of a week. So the earliest we can confirm a legit real Stochastic Rsi cross-up is this Sunday, 11:59 p.m. UTC time. You look at the chart. Is the Stochastic RSI blue line on top, and are both lines above the 20? If two of those things are true, we are in a very good spot. Do you love altcoins? Do you want to hear my opinion of the top 4 altcoins with huge potential right now? Well, I made an exclusive bonus video. To unlock it immediately for free, go to cryptocrewuniversity.com. Again, that's cryptocrewuniversity.com. Go unlock it immediately for free right now. If you're already on my email list, that video is already waiting for you. And the next thing we would need to do is create yet another higher high. Take a look. We had a high right here in June in the Stochastic RSI. We had our pivot low here. We followed that up with another higher high, and we followed that up with another higher low. This, my friends, is called an uptrend. However, I like to have 3 data points, tops and bottoms. We have 2 each. So what we need Bitcoin to do is create a higher high than this one, which is at about 50, and we needed to create a higher low. That's it. And then we have a textbook uptrend, plain and simple. In other words, a textbook uptrend with our momentum, given the fact that the Stochastic RSI quite literally represents momentum. So that's what you want to see if you're a Bitcoin bull. If we get to Sunday, 11:59 UTC time with said cross and both lines above there, look for us next to break this red line. If we break that red line, look for us to test our upper channel here, which is our prior all-time high. That's how markets work. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the show, I wanted to give my opinion on what I believe to be happening, especially as it relates to the 2-week chart and the 1-week chart. Now, let me break down the 2-week chart and then I'll give you my synopsis. The 2-week chart has also our bull flag, which we'll get into in a future video. That's why you hit the subscribe button, but the 2-week Stochastic RSI. So what's the difference really? Why don't we just cover the 1 week? Why are we also covering the 2-week? Well, anytime you scale up in time frames, there just are less false signals. For example, most recently, we had not 1 false signal in the Stochastic RSI, we had 2. However, on a 2-week time frame, we had no false signals. That's my point entirety right there in a nutshell. So that's why I love the higher time frames. I like to show you the 1 week because a lot of people are really interested in like what's happening right now and tomorrow. So the 2-week time frame, there's literally no false signals. This is all just noise on the 1 week with multiple false signals, and on the 2-week, there's nothing. So what you see on a 2-week time frame is nothing got above the 20 yet. You want to see a cross with the blue line on top and both the blue line, the fast and the slow line getting above the 20, which we haven't been close to yet. The last time we had an official cross was September of last year when Bitcoin went from roughly 25K up to 75K. Pretty big jump just with the Stochastic RSI. That's what we're looking for here. Unfortunately, we had a low here and we have a lower low. We're going down to some of the key market structure that we've had down here. What you see right now is the red line or orange line is on top. Okay, so more time to really build out our market structure, and we're really looking for when we have that official cross, especially confirming above 20. Now, what do I believe to be happening? Well, I think it boils down to the 2-month gravestone doji versus the weekly and 2-week Stochastic RSI. This is something that we've been talking about for months. The market has a lot of bearishness in the market right now, simply because we were overextended when we reached up to 74. I showed you on so many different charts that Bitcoin was literally out of breath, out of steam, and no more momentum left. The easiest way to understand it is look at the RSI and the history of Bitcoin. Do you see this yellow line here? Bitcoin got above that. Keep in mind, the RSI represents overbought, oversold. So what we were literally one of the most overbought areas of Bitcoin's 14-year history when we were at 74. You can't just keep climbing up. It doesn't work like that. Bitcoin needed to cool off, and it needed to do it in a major way. Unfortunately, when it cooled off, it created more bearish action than we've seen in recent memory, printing a gravestone doji on a 2-month time frame. Remember earlier I said when you scale up in time frames, there are less false signals. I just said a gravestone doji, a textbook one, at key market structure with resistance for a triple top. I can't describe it in another way. This is what I said months and months and months ago. And I said the only way, the only thing that has a potential to save the day for Bitcoin was a weekly Stochastic Rsi cross followed by a 2-week Stochastic Rsi cross. That has to get us to a new all-time high and avoid ridiculously strong bearish divergence. Unfortunately, I can't see a way where we avoid bearish divergence. What do I mean by that? Well, if Bitcoin were to have these two crosses, like I said, and then really have a battle between the weekly and the 2-week Stochastic Rsi cross and a tag team effort with the 2-month gravestone doji, and those two go to battle, it could take Bitcoin to a new all-time high, which would be great. But then the RSI would be roughly in this area, and then we would have a pivot high and a lower high with our RSI, and price action would be a high and a higher high. That would be crazy strong bearish divergence, and that would likely mark the top of the market, and then we would have a free fall back down to market structure. So that's still the scenario that I see happening right before our eyes, right? It's just a matter of being level-headed, looking for those opportunities. And if you're in Bitcoin for the next 5, 6, 7 years, you really believe in it, then it's always true that it's more risky to be out than in. Just simply given the fact that every cycle has about 30 to 40 days of pure gains. That 30 to 40 days makes up like 95% of the gains Bitcoin makes. It does it in like 35 to 40 days. So if you're out of the market a couple of those days because you think you're going to get cute and time the market, you're going to get destroyed. That's the point of it's more risky to be out of Bitcoin than in Bitcoin. There are only 35, 40 days in the whole bull market that makes up 95% of the gains. Just think about that and keep that fact with you for all future cycles. So that's where we stand right now. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you right back here in the next video. This bull run is our road to 500,000 subscribers, but I need your help. Today, tell one person about our YouTube channel, how we spit facts, go against the herd, take no paid sponsorships of any kind. Road to 500,000, let's go.